one of the things I like to do Sunday morning is reach out to my school community, one rental at a time, talk to the students, also give you the opportunity for some new faces and new voices on the channel. We have one and only school member, Jack Stewart. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How about yourself? Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I love nothing better than talking to school members, figuring out what their story is, asking questions, get to ask me questions. We just have a good time. And hey, we post it on YouTube for the world to see. Jack, do me a favor, tell the world, who is Jack Stewart? What are you doing in this crazy world? And we'll go from there.
Well, I buy rental properties in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I currently am a machine operator. I'm not allowed to say with who though, so
It's
we'll leave
okay.
that part out.
Got it.
Um, I mean, I enjoy the outdoors and stuff, and I'm in this journey for the long haul, and I just enjoy every aspect of real estate.
There you go. When did you start, Jack?
I was talking to Mikey the other day, and I can't figure out exactly which year. I think ballpark it was 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
I think it was 19 because I think I bought my first two properties within 3 months of each other of each other, right as the whole COVID thing was just starting to explode.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And where are you at now? What does the portfolio look like roughly?
Well, I got four duplexes, and if you're in school, watch the live stream. We talked about two of them, the
Hmm.
duplexes that are connected to each other.
Very cool. So you
Thank
got
you so
eight,
much for
eight.
the advice on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got 8 units in roughly, I don't know, call it 4 years. Uh,
Correct.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I always like to talk about the first one. You remember the details of the first one? What was the first thing you bought?
It was the house was built in 1853. Uh, so the cool thing about this place is the town.
1853. Wow.
Well, the young buck out of my portfolio is 1903.
Noted. Noted.
But so it was 1853, and it's an all brick house, and I sucked or remodeled the whole inside, put a new roof on, all that kind of stuff. And the one cool thing is, when I was up in the attic digging around one day, I found a book written in the original owner's handwriting with all the blueprints and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And one of the things he was talking about in the diary of this house, like it was actually called the house diary, was he was talking about, since there's a local brickyard, he borrowed one of the portable brick smelters or whatever you call it for casting bricks.
Yeah.
He borrowed it and casted the bricks there on the property for the house.
Wow. Wow. That's got to be cool. You still have that diary of the house, that book?
Yeah, but it's still upstairs though. It's kind of one of those things where it's so fragile that I was afraid to
Right.
take it downstairs and it fall and crumble my hands. So
I got it.
I gingerly flipped through and took pictures of all the pages so I'd have it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's why, it's funny what you find in these old houses. I think the oldest house I own was in the early 1900s. I don't have anything from the 1800s. Any surprises other than finding some treasures in the attic with an old house like that? First thing I know is they built them different, right? They were built
Yeah,
very sturdy.
yeah. So two of the biggest surprises I had was one was the foundation. When the plumber had to, we had trouble with the shower, and he had to cut a hole through the foundation, the plumbing back into the. Usually, the foundation or the wall is like, I don't know, it's cinder block, so it's like probably up to here on my arm, so like my hand and
Yeah,
six
18
inches of my
inches,
arm.
whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this wall was the whole length of my arm, which is like almost 3 feet, like over
Yeah.
3 feet.
Wow. They built them different uh back then. So pretty cool. What do you remember what the rents were when you picked up that first property?
The rents originally were, what was it, 650 a side after I was
Okay.
done,
Mhm.
and I bought the place for 75,
Nice.
and now the rents I've been kind of easy with the current tenants just because they've been long-term tenants. They've almost been there since I bought the property.
Hmm.
But I'm getting 900 aside now. I could
Oh, wow.
ask 1100 now.
Nice. Very nice. So, curious, any questions you might have for me as we just kind of riff together?
Yeah, I took some time to write a few questions down in my free
Awesome.
time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, what do you think about Coach Carson and paying off properties like toward like the small mighty investor?
Yeah, I think for me, um, I think investors are either in growth mode or stability or stable mode or preservation. And again, I can only speak to my experience. When I was in growth mode, I was all about leveraging equity, obviously not going negative, right? No alligators. But if I'm in growth mode, I was in growth mode. And the last thing I would do in growth mode is pay off a property. That said, in 2018, I did leave my W 2 job. One of the first things I did in 2019 was created a portfolio of, let's call it, a dozen houses that are free and clear. I call it our oh shit pile, right? I've been doing this for nearly 25 years. I remember the Great Recession. I saw people lose everything in the Great Recession. So one of the things Olivia and I did on purpose was pay off a handful of properties so that if the world ended and we lost everything, we felt that we could survive with this small set of properties. So that's something I believe in. I don't believe we will pay off more properties, but yeah, we do have a set because we're just in a different phase of life. We're no longer in growth mode, so that's generally my thought.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Would you say you're at 50% debt to income with your portfolio or less, more?
I think you were referring to LTV, loan to
Oh,
value.
yes, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
I would say, yeah, easily. It might even be sub 50. One of the things we have done no cash out refis in the last 5 years. And obviously the portfolio has gone up 70% since then. Um, so yeah, we're probably below 50%, probably yeah, 55, 45, somewhere in there. Yeah, probably. But just for to answer this question with the last one, when I was in growth mode, I was very comfortable going to 75%, assuming the rent would cover the mortgage payment. But I'm nowhere near that today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm obviously still in growth mode.
Mhm.
I had a internal dialogue the other day in my head because I was listening to you while I was at work, and you're talking about um, in that video just getting to four, and you can decide what you want to do further on. And I thought it's funny you're talking also about dreaming too big and it stops people. And I
Mm.
realized in that moment that originally I wanted a much bigger portfolio, and it never scared me. But I realized I don't need that massive portfolio I was originally planning, and I could probably honestly get away with like 50 units or so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, um, obviously real estate investing, a lot of the stories are of massive portfolios like Pace Morby, 2,300 or whatever it is. Um, shoot, Matt the lumberjack at 132 or whatever it is. These are all great numbers to get people excited and motivated. I got to tell you, there is magic in having a portfolio of 18 units like Dion or 9 units like Casey. You really don't need massive portfolio. If you build it right, you watch the debt, you don't kind of keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, I think Dion's figured it out, man. 18 units, works 2 hours a month. I mean, come on, right? Can't spend the money he has. What's wrong with that? It's pretty special, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as far as keeping up with the Joneses, me and Cynthia both agreed that we've never had a problem with trying to keep up with the Joneses because we don't really care about the Joneses.
Awesome.
And I'll give you an example. I don't know how to do it while we're live, but if I didn't have my backdrop, you would see I'm sitting in my vehicle. It's
Yep.
hers. It's an '07 Ford Explorer Sport Track. Her
Mhm.
truck behind me is an '02 Ford Explorer Sport Track. And I'm sitting in the youngest one, a 14 Nissan Frontier.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
It's all right. I can still hear you. Jack, you still there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm still
there he
here.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to get the camera to work again.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, a lot of things in life come down to delayed gratification. I mean, a lot of the big expenses in life are vehicles. And if you can get by with a, a 10, 20-year-old car, it's just insurance is less, all that stuff. So I like it. I like it. All right. What's the next question?
Um, I was what about so I found out recently in the last couple of years at my W-2 job
Mhm.
that something I really enjoy is teaching people on machines and even as like a backup supervisor and stuff.
Mhm.
And I'd like to work on myself becoming more of a teacher in the real estate aspect. That's why I started the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
What are some recommendations you can give towards that?
So first off, I think it's wonderful that more and more content creators like yourself are interested in documenting your journey. One of my big regrets is not documenting the first 15 or 16 years of the journey. So the first thing I would tell you to do is um, just keep being authentic. Just keep telling the good, bad, and the ugly of what's going on. One of the things, just for example, that I heard you talk about earlier is you discovered that book in the attic. I mean, one of the great
Yeah,
things would have been to turn on the camera and say, "Oh my God, folks, look at what I just found in this house that was built in 1854. Look at it. It's been up here for 200 years. I can barely touch it." Blah, blah. Just think about that. As you are uncovering your daily life, document it. It doesn't have to be polished, it doesn't have to be super edited. Just keep showing up and being authentic. The next thing I would tell you to do is try to set a schedule. Obviously, you have a day job, you have family responsibilities, all of that. I would try to make sure that a video goes up at least one day a week, every I'm just going to make it up, every Saturday at 9 a.m. But I would also not be afraid to turn on the camera when something unique happens. Capture the authenticity of the moment, right? Oh, by the way, guys, we just had to fix a drain line because of the shower in this house. I don't know if you know this, but a normal house has an 18-inch, subfloor. This one's 36 inches, and they built them different in 1854, right? Capture capture that authenticness. And again, don't over edit, don't do all, just consistency and authenticity will take you a long way.
yeah. Pretty much when I edit videos, the only thing I do is take out dead air time,
Yeah.
or if and I cut out words like
Right. Yeah. Practice. Everybody has what's called a control word. I learned this when I took speech. Uh, Actually, the most valuable class I took was a speech 101 class. It made me millions of dollars. And everybody has a control word. So I would turn on the camera and figure out what yours is. If it's you know, track it, get better, you know, have your wife or someone look at it. You just Nothing beats repetition. You got to work that control word. A lot of us get concerned about dead air. A lot of us get concerned about watching the screen and thinking at the same time, which causes us to um, kind of get two trains of thought. Practice, practice, practice.
thank you. Oh, so um, my mind's always every day turning about new and different ideas.
Sure.
And I wrote one down because I knew I'd forget, but I wanted to write down one of my goofy ideas I thought was funny. I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
So me and Cynthia, one of our goals is to build a camper van and tour the country and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was joking with a buddy of mine at work. I was just like, I'm going to do the ultimate house hack. I'm going to live outside of my rental property in the van to go to work.
That would be the ultimate house hack. You're right.
And I can't remember who I said this to. I was like, now I just need to find a duplex for sale next to the river so I can live in a van down by the river.
Oh, I can see your vision board now. Was Cynthia on board with this? Cynthia on board with this idea?
The camper van,
Yeah.
it was originally her idea, and she had to slowly pull me into it.
Wow. Score. All right. The couple's on the same page. I like it.
You know what's funny is you just reminded me of something. So you guys always have to talk about how to get your spouse on board, how to get your spouse on board.
Hmm.
We never had that conversation. It was more of she saw me at that time want like listen to listen to stuff on my phone and stuff, and it was bigger pockets I was listening to, I think. And she could just tell like for like a few weeks that I was just really hung up on something, like trying to have, like, and eventually I was like, I need to talk to you about something.
Mm.
And she's like, yeah, you've had something on your mind and you've been wanting to get off your chest for a while. I can tell. I was
Yeah.
like, I want to become a landlord and buy rental property so we can have financial freedom. And she's like, oh God, I thought you were going to break up with me or something.
Oh, that's all you
And
want to
she,
do? Let's go.
yeah, that was it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I tell you, having a supportive spouse, someone that's on board with you is a great unlock. You need to know that you are unique. I don't know what the percentages are, but based on the conversations I have with people, 75% of significant others. Now, it's not always the wife. It's, sometimes the husband.
Mhm.
Um, just have some mental roadblock about investment properties. And a lot of these folks, frankly, lost money or lost homes in the Great Recession, right? We're only 15 years past the Great Recession and all that pain, but there's a lot of people that don't want to do that again. So, there's a lot of baggage, PTSD that folks have. So, congratulations for having a spouse that was on board day one.
Thank you. Apparently I disappeared again.
It's okay.
But
We can hear you.
but whatever goofy I had has always supported it. But the only thing is like the super weird ones. She the only thing she's ever says, okay, well let's see if you feel this passionate about it in like a week. And usually I never bring it up again.
She knows you pretty well, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I'm just a hair out of the Wi-Fi zone. So I think that's why I keep disappearing.
That's okay. Keep going. You got more questions for me?
Yeah, so I know before I was kind of saving this question for you more than anyone else. If
Mm.
you don't wish to talk about it, I 100% understand.
Okay.
But we both kind of come from like a more of a broken family setup.
Hmm.
How and especially like on my or with my family, a lot of them tend to be leeches and just where's my share?
For sure.
Where's my part?
Yeah.
I hide everything from them and I don't bring it up. I don't talk about it.
Hmm.
And if it and because my parents slipped up and told them that I do real estate investing, and I ever since then don't even tell my parents what I'm doing anymore.
Right.
But how would you handle that? Like I said, I just don't tell them anything anymore.
Yeah. You just got to not tell them. Um, and then, I know you're spinning up a YouTube channel, so that'll eventually take off for you. You just ignore the conversations. I have lots of people in my family. It doesn't happen anymore, but that first decade of our career when cash flow and net worth was exploding, they all reached out for stuff. And I've got crazy stories which I don't care to put on blast on YouTube, but I had lots of people in my family just expect me to give them money. And the answer was no, and in many cases was hell no. And there's a few folks in my family that were so hurt by it that I no longer talk to. And that's fine by me, right?
Yeah.
Nobody in my family gave me squat. Um, frankly, people in my family thought I'd be the loser of the family. And all these other cousins, and frankly, even my sister was supposed to be the rock star, not me. So yeah, I have no problem. I don't even, other than my mother, I don't think I've spoken with anybody in my family in a decade, maybe. And I'm okay with that. They're not good for me. They weren't good for me then. They're not good for me now. So I'm perfectly okay never speaking to them, frankly.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am, honestly, with a lot of my family. And usually, even when I try to show up to like a cousin's wedding that I like or something, it just ends up being a argument and a fight.
Yeah.
And I'm just at the point now where I'm gonna start. I told Cynthia, I was like, I don't have to worry about how do you word it, demoting your friends or
Yeah.
changing your
I,
friends.
yeah, I call it firing my friends, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about firing my friends. I was like, I've met more friends because of your community. Because before joining your community and stuff, I didn't have friends. I didn't keep friends long term. But
Right.
now, but now, I talk to a few different people, and it's all thanks to you.
Yeah. I
But I was
think
like, I need to evaluate. Sorry.
that's what I'm trying to do with school, because I was you 15, 18 years ago. I was doing this thing. I had a couple of units. I couldn't talk about it with family. I couldn't talk about it with friends. I felt like I was on an island by myself. So that's why I first tried to do it in Facebook. Facebook didn't work for lots of different reasons. And that's why we spun up a school community. Is I want to attract people, and then I want to put them together and see them support each other. I'm glad it's working out as designed. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely welcome.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We got time for at least one more question.
Um, I think you basically answered all the ones I have.
Yeah. So let's talk about YouTube for a minute, just given that
Okay.
that was some of the
Yeah.
questions. Again, I think you're at a very cool spot because you're early in your journey. This is something you could do. Like I've been doing YouTube for 6 years, right? Um, just think about you, Jack, in 6 years. It'll be 2030. Your portfolio will probably be double the size, if not more. Cash flow will be up 50 or 60%. Just think about all those other cool stories. Because again, one of my biggest regrets is I don't have a picture of 30-year-old Zuber in front of Norris Drive. Of course, I have pictures of Norris Drive now, but I was 40, I was 45, I was 50. I want to have that picture of Zuber at 30 or 31 whenever we bought that. I think if you treat YouTube as a document, almost like a video journal of
Hmm.
your journey, that's what I want you to think about. I don't want you to think about clicks or views or any of that. You're going to video document your building a portfolio and all the cool stories and all the mistakes and all the, oh my God, you won't believe this. Just document, document, document. And worst case, in 6 years, you'll have this, you know, diary of cool stuff. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole reason why I started. Like, I would like to learn to teach and have people like learn from me from my experiences and stuff. But I figure worst case scenario, because dementia runs in my family. If I end up being 90 years old, I can reference my own channel and be like, look at the cool stuff I've done. I forgot all about this.
There you go. Video library of all the cool stuff. I love that. Jack, where can people find you? What is the channel? Tell us all that.
So it's Jack's Business Talk. It's here on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram has the shorts, but YouTube has the shorts and the longer content.
Awesome. Jack's Business Talk, correct?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of school. Thank you for responding, networking, just keeping that community being positive and growing. I appreciate you. Have a great Sunday.
You too. Thank you so much.
You got it.